Okay, so today we're diving into leadership,
Okay.
but with a bit of a twist.
Right.
We're taking a look at an email
Mm-hmm.
from leadership coach Swebb,
Okay.
and, well, he found some wisdom
Okay.
in a really unexpected place.
Oh, interesting. Where?
His personal training sessions.
Wow. That's, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
interesting, right? So
Yeah.
Swebb is 46,
Mm-hmm.
and he decided to hire a trainer.
Okay.
Not
Mhm.
because he was
You-
out of shape or anything,
Okay.
but because he wanted to push past his comfort zone.
Okay.
He knew that to grow as a person,
Mm-hmm.
you have to embrace being uncomfortable,
Oh, that's interesting.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so he knew he needed this kind of external push and accountability to drive real change,
Right.
both physically and mentally.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Right.
Sometimes you just need that extra push
Exactly.
to really get going.
And so he uses this analogy of, working out
Mm-hmm.
and to come up with these leadership insights,
Okay.
which we're going to go through today.
I'm excited.
So his first point is comfort is a trap.
Comfort is a trap.
Yeah, and he's saying, he could have stuck to his routine,
Right.
but that doesn't lead to any growth.
Right. You just stay the same.
Yeah, you just stay stagnant.
Yeah. Okay.
So how does this play out
Yeah.
in a leadership role?
Yeah, that's a good question because...
Have you ever felt that pull
Oh, yeah, all the time.
towards the comfortable?
I think we all have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why rock the boat? kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, it's easier
Yeah.
to just stick with what,
Totally.
But you're right, that doesn't really get you anywhere new.
Exactly.
It's like being afraid to try a new exercise at the gym because you're worried you might look silly or something.
Yeah.
But then you never get to experience the benefits of that new exercise.
Or you might find out you love it. And that's the thing with this comfort trap,
Yeah,
right?
it keeps us from growing,
Yes.
not just as individuals, but as teams as well.
Totally.
Think about a leader who hates giving tough feedback
Right.
because it's uncomfortable.
Right.
They're stuck in that comfort trap,
Totally.
and it's hurting them and their team.
So it's not even just about them.
It affects everyone.
It affects everyone they work with.
Exactly.
Wow.
And what Swebb is really saying is that
Yeah.
the real learning happens when you step into those moments of discomfort.
Oh.
So when you're feeling that resistance,
Yeah.
that's when you know you're onto something.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like that feeling of,
Yeah.
I might puke, as Swebb calls it.
I might puke.
That's when the growth happens.
So you're saying it's not just about recognizing that trap. It's
Mhm.
about
It's about actively seeking those challenges.
so actively seeking
The
them.
ones that make you uncomfortable.
I might puke moments.
Yeah. Because those are the moments that will push you to that next level.
Okay.
It's like signing up for that 5:30 a.m. workout.
Yeah.
You might not feel like it in the moment,
Yeah.
but you know it's going to be worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
It'll feel so much better afterwards.
Speaking of those 5:30 a.m. workouts,
Right?
his next point is about accountability.
Okay.
And he says, and I love this quote,
Mm-hmm.
he says, when someone expects you at 5:30 a.m.,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
there's no hitting snooze.
That's true.
So true.
I mean, unless you're really sick or something.
Yeah, of
Of
course.
course. Yeah, generally.
Yeah, so how does that translate into leading a team, though?
Right.
Like, are you supposed to be a drill sergeant?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's not about being like a dictator.
Okay.
It's more about creating structures that support everyone's goals.
Okay.
So it's like having a trainer at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
A good leader creates a framework for accountability.
Okay, so what would that...
So that means
That, like-
delegating tasks effectively,
Okay.
setting clear expectations,
Mhm.
and establishing systems for follow-up and feedback.
Oh, so it's about...
It's about making sure things stay on track,
Okay.
but not in a micromanaging way.
Not breathing down their necks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more about giving people the support and the structure they need to succeed.
Like setting them up for success.
Exactly.
Just like a good trainer wouldn't just throw you in the deep end and
Right.
say swim.
They would teach you how to swim,
Yeah, exactly.
and then they would be there to support you as you learn.
And that's what a good leader does.
Exactly.
Right.
And something that Swebb asks in his email is, who is keeping you accountable?
Oh, wow.
That's a really powerful question.
That's a great question.
to ask yourself.
Because it made me think
Yeah.
who are my accountability partners?
Right.
Who am I answering to?
Yeah.
Do I even have anyone?
It's easy to just kind of coast along and not really think about who's holding us accountable.
Yeah, it's so easy.
But having that external perspective
Yeah.
can make a huge difference.
And it's a great question for anyone
Absolutely.
in a leadership position
Mm-hmm.
or anyone who is just trying to achieve a goal.
Whether it's a mentor,
Yeah.
a coach,
A friend.
a friend, even just
Yeah.
someone who can check in with you and make sure you're staying on track
Oh, yeah.
can be really helpful.
Okay, so his next point
Yeah.
is a bit of a pep talk.
Let's hear it.
You're stronger than you think.
I love that.
It's like a good affirmation for the day.
Yeah, totally.
And Swebb was talking about how he had these moments
Mm,
where he doubted he could lift heavier weights,
okay.
but then he actually did it.
Yeah.
And he was so surprised.
Such a great feeling
Yeah.
when you realize you're capable of more than you thought.
It's like a mental block that gets broken.
Exactly.
And that reminds me of this time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to
What happened?
well, let's just say,
Huh.
okay, I had a similar experience.
All right. I get it.
And it changed my whole perspective.
Yeah.
It's so easy to put limits on ourselves
Isn't it?
without even realizing it.
Oh, yeah. We do it all the time.
All the time. And
Yeah.
so much of the time,
Yeah.
it's self-imposed limitations based on fear
Fear of failure.
or past experience.
Or just not believing in ourselves.
Yeah.
But Swebb's experience shows us
Yeah.
that we need to push past those mental barriers
Yeah.
to see what we're truly capable of.
So are you saying that if you think you can't, you're probably wrong?
Haha, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's all about having the courage to try,
Okay.
even when you're afraid to fail.
Even when you're afraid to fail,
Because you never know. You might just surprise
you
yourself
might surprise yourself.
with what you can achieve.
I love
That applies to leadership, too. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you have to take on challenges
Mhm.
that you initially think are impossible,
Okay.
but then you find a way to make it happen.
You find a way.
And that's when the real growth happens.
Wow. Okay. I'm feeling pumped up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
This next one really resonated with me.
Okay.
Consistency wins over time.
Consistency.
And Swebb's a big believer
Yeah.
in showing up consistently,
Yeah. I like that.
even if it's in small ways,
Yeah.
rather than relying on like those bursts of intensity
Right.
that just burn you out.
The all or nothing approach,
Yeah.
it doesn't usually work out in the long run.
Yeah. Like, for example, if you're trying to get into shape,
Right.
like doing these crazy intense workouts,
Yeah.
like 3 days in a row,
And then burning out.
and then being sore for a week,
Yeah, and then giving up.
and then giving up. Exactly.
It's better to just do a little bit every day.
It's the long game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the tortoise and the hare.
Right.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Wins the race.
And this applies to leadership, too.
Okay. How so?
Well, think about building trust and momentum within a team.
Hmm?
It's that consistent communication.
The follow through on commitments.
Yeah.
The daily actions that may seem small,
Yeah.
but create a huge impact over time.
Okay.
It's not always flashy or exciting,
Right.
but it's how you get real lasting results.
And that's how you build a good team.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like those small, consistent workouts
Yeah.
that eventually lead to those amazing results.
Yeah. You don't necessarily see massive changes overnight,
Right.
but when you look back over time,
Exactly.
it's like, wow.
Yeah, you've come so far.
And Swebb asks,
Hmm.
where do you need more discipline?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Show up daily and see what happens.
I like that.
It's a challenge,
It is.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think we could all use a little bit more of that
Absolutely.
show up mentality.
No,
Me too.
it's a good reminder to just be present
Yeah.
and to put in the work even when we don't feel like it,
Even when we don't feel like it.
because that's when the magic happens.
Okay, last but not least.
All right, what's the final lesson? This one might be the most important,
Okay.
especially for leaders.
I'm listening.
Humility fuels growth.
Humility.
And Swebb shares this funny anecdote
Okay.
about how he was told to use the baby weights.
Oh, gosh.
Can you imagine?
I can only imagine how humbling that must have been.
So humbling.
But also a good lesson.
And such a good lesson.
Oh.
And we've all been there, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Having to like swallow your pride
Totally.
and admit we need help.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's perfect.
Right.
We all have areas where we can improve.
Exactly.
And it's important to be able to recognize that
yeah.
and to ask for help when we need it.
Like even if it feels embarrassing or something.
Yeah, pride can be a real obstacle to growth.
Totally.
And I think, especially for leaders,
Yeah.
it's important to be able to admit when you don't know something
So true.
and to be open to learning from others
Okay.
because nobody has all the answers.
Nobody has all the answers.
And that's where humility comes in because when you're humble,
You're open to learning and growing.
okay.
And that makes you a better leader.
And so he asks this question,
Yeah.
where do you need to ask for help?
Wow.
Powerful question.
It is.
It's a really good question.
It really makes you think about those
Yeah.
areas where you might be holding yourself back
Totally.
because of pride or fear.
Yeah. And where those baby steps
That's-
are actually what we need.
Sometimes the smallest steps can lead to the biggest breakthroughs.
So true.
Yeah,
This has been a fantastic deep dive.
I agree.
Who knew a personal trainer could be
I know, right?
such a source of leadership wisdom?
You never know where you're going to find inspiration.
You really don't.
It could be anywhere.
And you know what?
What's that?
Swebb actually sends out these emails every week,
Oh, really?
packed with all these principles that are applicable to
Oh, wow.
leadership in life.
That's amazing.
So if you're looking for like a dose of
Yeah.
weekly wisdom,
Mm.
you can sign up for his email list.
Mm.
Okay, how do you do that?
It's www.swebb.fire Swebmail.
Yeah.
It's called Swebmail.
Swebb mail. I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah. I might have to check that out myself.
Oh, you should.
Thanks for the recommendation.
Of course.
I mean, it just goes to show that learning is a continuous journey,
Yes.
and you can gain insights from all sorts of places.
Like personal training session.
Exactly.
So to wrap up, let me leave you with this question
Okay.
from Swebb.
Right?
What baby weights might you need to pick up in your own leadership journey to unlock further growth?
That's a good one.
So think about those areas where you might need to humble yourself.
Yeah.
Ask for help and embrace the discomfort of learning something new.
Powerful stuff.
Until next time.
See you then.